Hello there, this is the AnYPony, and welcome to another podcast special review chapter thingy with vector-brony. Hello Vector, nice to have you back.
Hi there, nice to be back again.
Yeah, and today we are going to continue where we stopped last time, in other words, talking about the new chapter of Project Horizon, chapter 70. But before we get into the chapter itself, there is a different, another related issue I wanted to address at this point, because when we did this the last time, for the first time, previously I never talked about Project Horizon a lot, so I didn't give people a lot to express their maybe differing opinion. I believe you, Vector, had already your own fair share of experience in that regard.
But, yeah, just a few.
Yeah, but I was shocked. I haven't been aware that Project Horizon is such a hyper-controversial topic among Fallout Equestria fans. I had the feeling, going through my comment section, I made videos on Klopp, on homosexuality, on other ridiculous stuff, like calling Twilight a zombie and whatnot. And this was, at least by feeling, was the most controversial and flame-worthy comment section of all of my videos, simply from the relation. And it was like, okay. So yeah, I want to address this a tiny bit right now in the start. Okay, I wasn't aware that it is so controversial. I read over all the comments by people who dislike Fallout Project Horizon very strongly, while loving the original. Like, somebody who hasn't read the original will not comment on it at all. So, and if you haven't read the original, you did something wrong, because Project Horizon is based on it. Anyways, yes.
Always read the original work before you go onto the parodies.
Especially, and this is this was supposed to be my big conclusion, but I guess I can start with it as well. The main complaints I saw were like, well, Sombra is changing stuff up, he is filling holes he has the need to fill to make it better, whatnot. And basically 90% of the complaints I read about Project Horizon could be said about other fan fictions who are directly about the series, about MLP Friendship with Magic, as well, like trying to improve, trying to fill holes, trying to explain stuff,
trying to develop characters.
Yeah, changing stuff that is already there for the purpose of telling your own story. So my advice for everybody who has a problem with how Project Horizon handles Fallout Equestria and that it destroys the original canon, do what basically the Nostalgia Critic does at the end of the Avatar movie, the Last Airbender movie. And he, at the end of his review, he is like, we don't have to do and complain anything, because this movie is not threatening, destroying, or harming the legacy of the original series. And this is the same with Project Horizon in regards to Fallout Equestria. It may attempt to be some kind of spin-off-y thing, to fit into canon, to fill the original canon. But basically, look at it as a fan fiction of a fan fiction.
Exactly.
Because
you can like it, or you don't. The thing is, just don't try and force it down people's throats. Yeah. The ones I get, they really try and force it home that this is such a bad fanfiction. Don't bother reading it, you're wasting your time. Just let people learn for themselves.
Yes, yes. I mean, you are welcome to give them red flags. If you had negative experience with the thing, give a red flag and say, well, it's more intensified at points. Well, the theme of rape is a lot more present, and it's a lot more concrete in its presentation and more graphic and everything. This is a fair red flag and warning, but don't go like, it's all shit! Don't waste your time! Let people come up with their own thingy. Wait. Yeah, that's basically what Vector said, yeah. And there was something else I wanted to say about it. So yeah, you are welcome to give also your differing opinion. I mean, obviously, Vector and I are fans of it. I mean, yeah. Considering how many art you draw of Project Horizon as well. I mean, sure, the original work as well, but, well, Project Horizon...
The thing is, I like them both. I even like ones like Pink Eyes and Heroes. I find the characters funny. Blackjack is a funny character, and she's not Little Pip.
Yeah.
They are completely different characters.
And I guess since the controversy came up, I have to address it in my, or spend more time addressing it in my actual review of Project Horizon, which I am going to do at some point after the work is done, because I mean, we're only a few more chapters from the end of it, even with Sombra's bad calculating quality of... I mean, he is promising himself and the world that he will get it done 2014, but even if he takes the first few months of the 2015 as well, it's cool. I don't worry. But yeah, once he's done, I'm very, very likely going to review it. And then I will have to address the whole controversy as well. But to give a little short
differing opinions.
But to give a little bit short thingy, why I still consider myself a fan of Project Horizon, while I also consider myself a fan of the original work. And I would say I consider the original work in basically every aspect superior work. So... don't get me wrong. But
I fully agree.
But nevertheless, I might be a tiny bit more of a fan of Project Horizon. For very subjective reasons. I don't try to pretend that it isn't. And not for its greatness. It just has, for me personally, what people actually complained about, that it has this kind of shonen anime thingy vibe going on for it, with actually paying homage to famous scenes from Ghost in the Shell and so on. And it also, with its over-the-topness, it feels for me like an 80s action movie. Like,
for me, it reminds me of an anime called Gurren Lagann.
Oh,
this
yes.
anime is completely over the top.
Yes.
They fight on universes scale with gigantic robots.
Literally. Yes,
they threw galaxies at people.
Yes, it's completely nonsense, and
but that's what's good.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes you need complete nonsense. That's what I really like, the subtlety of the original work, like that they don't have to throw it in your face, that there is only one cyber pony and so on, while now it's literally armies of them.
Infinite numerical
yes.
Zebra, unicorn, Pegasi things.
Yes. Endless, and pretty much with everything. Back then we had a goddess, now we have at least 3 running around. Back then we had a little bit of a civil war, now we have a war?
Full-blown war.
Yeah, and we have entire planets colliding, so... yeah, it's absolutely over the top. It's anime, it's 80s movies, and if you don't like it, if this is not your cup of tea, hell, stay away from it. But if you at least don't mind, it can be a really fun ride. And I guess fun ride is a nice segue to chapter 70.
Oh, yes.
Also over the topness.
Yes, definitely. But we'll get to that as we go.
Yes, I guess so. When they started to all come in with the party equipment, I was like, am I watching 10 things I hate about you? But I
came up with 60.
60 people who come in? And for me it was like, because first they all come in before they all kind of fall out, spread out around the building again. And I was like, wasn't Star House to be a small hut or something? And it's come more and more and more. And they build up a base. Oh god, they build up a Wi-Fi station. Like, what?
Yep, they bring in Pisces and Capricorn in their bucket.
Yes.
Reading this going, hang on. 24, 30. Oh my god, there's 60 people. How are they getting in? I believe it kind of became an Elder Scroll, or not only an original Fallout. You see, it's also what's the firm? Bella, the producer, the video game producer, Bethesda Studios.
Yes. It's. I believe they kind of without addressing it in the story itself, they kind of implanted a typical Bethesda gameplay feature. Fast travel.
Okay. Oh, yes,
because
they did, didn't they?
So much they travel. I mean, do you remember in the past to go from one place to another, it usually took at least 2 chapters. Now they jump all across the wasteland in 1 chapter. It was amazing.
All across the hoof, and then within hours they're at Star Cottage.
Yes, it's the same day. It's the end of the day, and they are not the only ones. I mean, just 2 days ago, everybody was at the society in the last chapter. Everybody, because Blackjack summoned everybody to the society. Then Blackjack travels, I believe, by teleportation to Star House, and it's the same evening. Everybody comes back from the society, and they set up a meeting for the next day. And
they're not next to each other. I said they're chapters away.
Yes, but apparently they enabled fast travel. So
when you those alicorns with their teleporting magic.
They started the teleporting only, I believe, for the first meeting in the theater. They actually used alicorns to get people there. I believe it was mentioned that Velvet brought in the teleportation service. But
she's friendly with them now.
But I really have the feeling that when you visit places you have been, you can instantly travel there. Because, well, okay, we jump into Gypsy Skywagon and we are there.
Yep. We need to get to the Highlands. Okay, we're to the Highlands.
We're there.
Right, we need to get to the army base to speak to the Hellhounds. Okay, bing, we're there.
Yeah, this was like, I mean, I can see what he does there. I would say, storytelling-wise, it's really like, what? But I can see what he's doing here. He is, I mean, he knows Tumblr knows himself that he has a tendency to kind of trail off when he is telling a part.
Yeah, he can really get into the adventure.
Exactly,
and the journey.
And I believe he intentionally cut out any adventure for those last few stations because they were really just tiny bits building up for the final battle.
And they weren't really necessary for the actual storyline to continue.
Yes.
We've already got the battle, we're just pulling the pieces together. It's like playing Mass Effect 3.
Mm. And to be honest, yeah, and to right, it really has, because I was considering, where do I know this summon everybody together thingy from? Mass Effect is a typical example. Original Fallout Equestria, they also did this, collecting everybody in Spike's Lair, and it has also, like it wasn't a party literally, but I believe they celebrated a bit in there as well. But
yeah, it's more like a Council of War.
Yeah, it wasn't as literally a party as it was in Project Horizon. But they did a very, very similar thing before the final battle in the original works. Just saying this for all the skeptics out there.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really basically a checklist. Tumblr probably wants to bring in the Hellhounds and or the Highlanders to jump in the final moment, like Gandalf in Two Towers when they are coming riding in.
Charge of Rohan, you know.
Yes, exactly. When they appear in the last moment, like exactly.
Charging over the hills, knocking out the brood.
In the morning, look to the east and underground because Hellhounds usually dig, but you know what I mean. Something like this. But
exactly.
Yeah. So I guess he really wanted to address that Blackjack tries to get everybody there in the last minute, and it was really basically a checklist, and he was like, okay, I'm not spending too much time. He integrated a little bit of interaction between the characters while traveling, but yeah, they visited so many different points in one day.
I was wondering how they managed to fit so many people into Ditsy's wagon.
It wasn't so many people.
I can imagine people like the alicorns flying on the sides, and Glory as well. But
remember how many have been in the Sky Bandit? What's it been called?
Yes, that's it. I mean, the Fallout Equestria 1.
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be a very big one. It was basically a
bus.
But did they ever address how big Ditsy's new wagon is supposed to be?
No, I don't think they have.
No. So. Yeah, it is as big as many people we need to get in there. So,
as big as convenience demands.
Exactly. Should we try to get in a little bit chronological? Because this is a fun thing. Because this time I just read it today. I mean, after all, apparently it only came out today. So I actually took the notes while reading it, so they are actually chronological, not like last time when I was like, what else do I want to talk about?
Yes, I was the same thing. Sitting there, taking the notes, just a few.
Just an entire book off, sure. Anyway, if I now could actually read what I wrote, I would have a good point. So yeah, I guess what we can do is I throw in one, and if you have an earlier one, we backtrack to yours, and so on.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, the first one I noted was one of the travelings between locations when Homage was talking about Little Pip and how she's worried about her. I have to say, the funny thing for me personally is, for people who have seen my original review and especially the moment with Dr. Wolf that followed afterwards, I was, let's call it traumatized by the ending of the original story. I mean, it threw me into a week-long depression, so I guess this counts as a little trauma.
Yes, it was nice to see them actually having Homage talk about this, and that how she is, like I said, she's fearful about Little Pip being alone. Yeah, but this was exactly the reason. The funny thing is, what Homage addresses are exactly the reasons that kind of throw me into the depression, because I had the fiction, the idea or the understanding that Little Pip's fate was basically worse than dying. Because I missed this, in my defense, one line in the after epilogue chapter, the 10 years later chapter. There's one line which acknowledge that Little Pip is actually able to leave the damn pot. Before that, it sounded to me like she is imprisoning herself for eternity in the stasis pod. In the comatose,
pretty much. And watching forever. Basically as Celestia, as an internal force who is an unembodied conscience who is just able to watch and play a little bit of weather frog. And this understanding of her giving up her love, of giving herself an eternal life with only the ability to watch and not interact with her friends, with the world and all, this was the thought that threw me into a depression. And it was actually that later, after the moment with Dr. Wolf was recorded and everything, and I went back to the story, I discovered this one line which is explaining like, well, we are celebrating Homage's birthday together in the autumn wing. So yeah, she's able to leave the pot and she is still able to have some nice times with
Happy
Homage.
times with Homage.
Oh yeah. And it is also said that because of all the innovation and radiation and whatnot, Little Pip is actually in a very bad health state. So without the pot, she would actually live a very, very short life.
Yes, because she was seriously injured after Spike teleported her, didn't she?
Yeah,
she was badly burned.
And even before that, she took a big, more than anybody else, she took more hurt from the Pink Cloud and Canterlot, because she literally got bathed in it.
Yep, had her pit buck fused to her wrist.
Exactly, and apparently it was not enough for her to get zombified, or ghoulified. So
thank Lord for that.
yeah, that's what we. So apparently she has a very reduced lifespan by now. So actually the pot is giving her a chance to outlive her lifespan, and I'm not sure if Sombre actually went over this with K-Cat, because in the editorial marks he actually had a talk with K-Cat just about this chapter, just because
he talked about Homage's backstory.
Exactly.
Before she joined DJ Poem3 in Tenpenny Tower.
So once again, for everybody who is like, oh, K-Cut is completely disapproving, apparently she still talks to Sombre in some kind of friendly manner and gives him, when he asks, feeds him input about what her original vision was, and he is still willing to implement it. So apparently there seems to be far less bad blood between the two writers than the fans of the two works. So
yeah,
ironically
I can't
enough,
imagine those two really being all out for each other's blood. I mean, it doesn't seem sensible.
Yeah, I guess K-Cat, I mean, I have heard that K-Cat does disapprove with some of the things Sombre does, but then again, probably she also has the perspective that he writes a fan fiction to her fiction, and as an author, you kind of have, or a writer or whatever, you have to kind of accept this when somebody is making a spin-off of your work, that it might derange from your original vision.
It's never going to be an exact parody of the work. It's got to be its own thing, otherwise it's going to be boring. Nobody would read it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for me it was very interesting to see that apparently Sombra has, or Homage has the very same worries I had. Even so, for me personally, those worries kind of got neutralized because, well, first of all, she is able to leave the pod, she can be visited. Okay, the moment chapter 70 of Project Horizon is just a few months after the end of the official book. While this chapter where Little Pip and Homage are actually having a happy fun time for her birthday is 10 years later.
Yep.
So...
it's the 3 months after the Little Pip went into the pod.
Exactly. So we are still very, very close. So maybe it is right now more an insecurity, and Homage is just having the worries I had without the 10 years later chapter, because, well, they still haven't been able to reach the Single Pegasus project or Single Pony project without somebody getting burned by Spike to death. So
because Celestia's soul is maintaining the shield around there.
So yeah, at this point in time, I can see Homage's worries, because and I can relate to them very, very, very good, since they were my original story worries as well. But then again, I wonder if Sombra has the same worries I had, if he actually talked to K-Cat, and this is really what Homage is supposed to think, if there is actually something to it, or if this is just worries which are in a very early state, if he's doing it intentionally. I don't know, but it's very interesting.
It is. And it was nice to get into Homage's backstory. Basically how she was robbing, what's her name, Joke Blue and Life Bloom. She robbed them. And they basically just followed her around asking for their stuff back till she finally gave in. Once again, it was just nice seeing how what she was actually like before 10 Pony Tower. How she said she was literally 1 step away from a raider, if anything, and 2 steps away from an animal.
Pretty much how she describes herself. I have to worry, though, when and where did she get her cutie mark? Because while she was still in the raceland robbing other ponies, I don't think she got too much connection to speakers at this point. So she probably must have still been a blank flank at this point.
Could be. It depends how young she was before she went into 10 Pony Tower. And judging that she's the same... Well, they say she's about the same height as Little Pip. So she could have been a young...
Yeah, but Little Pip is of small build, and as far as I know, Homage was supposed to be small as well, so they are both grown mares. English, difficult language.
Yes,
basically not really German.
Complicated on purpose.
More inconsistent and harder, so nevertheless. Yeah. The backstory also especially considering, because while I was reading it, I was actually a little bit like, okay, now we're getting her backstory. Well, if this is really the one thing, and then I read the footnote, and it was like, well, I asked K-Cat because I had a completely different vision, and so apparently this is now the official vision, how K-Cat envisioned it, and that's pretty awesome, I have to say.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was quite good, actually.
Yeah. So, anything on your end we already passed with my homage to Homage?
No, I thought that's actually pretty good. And it was just getting interesting when they entered the Highlands, to ask for help from Big Mama.
I actually haven't written too much to this, so what did you have about that?
I liked the main fact that the little blue filly was fighting with Scotch tape, and the whole debate about nemesis.
Yes, the nemesis thing.
And how Velvet Remedy never had them. And it was just hilarious to me.
I was laughed by everybody.
Yeah.
The sad thing, it's true, she was adored by the entire stable.
Yeah, and everybody going, well, I had Daisy, P21 had the Overmare, and then Calamity goes, wow, I can beat all 4 of you. I had 3 brothers and a dad who hated me.
But I was surprised by the alicorn.
Oh yeah, that threw me off.
Who is Tiara? Yes, I mean, DeviantArt was bitch enough to be everybody's nemesis. But we know the fate of all the 3 Crusaders, so this Alicon must be a different filly from Ponyville.
Yes. And once again, I'm just curious how they actually know her. Like I said, it could easily have been... well, it might be in Twilight's memories, I suppose.
I don't think so. Twilight didn't have enough contact. It must be a filly in my eyes. The problem is there are no more not background fillies left at this point. Twist, the only other speaking filly, is already kind of involved in the story.
Yes, that's
Getting
true.
to this later, I guess. Then, of course, yeah, the 3 Crusaders, and I believe every other filly which was kind of sticking out was male.
Yes, it was.
We got the printing one. Okay, and Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, so we got 2 more. But yeah, we got the printing one. We got Featherweight. We got the more chubby one, and we got Snips and Snails.
Oh yes, so right, it is a bit of a mystery, that one.
Yeah, so she is probably just background filly, but I think it's still like, what? The Alicon is like, what? What? And I was really like, okay, we know Scoodloo died in Rainbow's Hut. We know that Apple Bloom died in Stable 1, was it? I believe the one in the
Sweet Belle, Applejack went to Stable 2.
Sweet Belle,
Scoodloo went to Rainbow.
Yeah, she died in Rainbow Dash Hut because I believe Calamity says that he found a skeleton when he discovered the hut and buried it.
With the rock.
And this must have been Scoodloo.
And Apple Bloom...
So, Apple Bloom died in this show stable in where the Steel Rangers are. In
in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Little Pip finds her skeleton and her final swords. Ooh. So yeah, the CMC, we know the fate of all 3 CMCs, so it could not be a CMC, but for a moment I was like, whoa, what is going on?
I think it's going to be another mystery.
Maybe he will, but basically I guess he threw it in a little bit as a joke that even the Alicon is like, well, I had my nemesis. And it is also nice how it all gets to a nice roundup conclusion.
It does.
When Velvet gets her own enemy with Charity.
Yeah, that was funny, hilarious.
Also, the I was kind of amazed, like when Charity gives Velvet the rational and. I mean, usually capitalism is a little bit viewed negative in most media. It's always like, and even in Project Horizon, while it is trade will save the wasteland,
which is true.
There's still a little bit of tongue in the cheek, and they also played a little bit ironical from time to time. But this time it was really like
it was legitimate.
That
her reasons were good.
Yeah, and through her capitalism, through not giving it out for free, she had an absolutely legit point and pretty much stomped Velvet and her idealism into the ground. You were totally on Charity's side, and I was like, whoa, did they really just went this way and pretty much bitch slapped the idealist?
Yeah, they pretty much shot her down without using any bullets. But in the sense, Charity was correct. You can't... There's so many refugees that, like I said, if you give them stuff for free, they'll basically riot for it and just snatch as much as they can. It's happened in history all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So Charity is completely right, but also nice that they go the way around. That later, when Velvet spreads her way of helping, that and she's singing and doing this impromptu concert, that Charity is to be seen in the doorframe. Like,
giving her.
It's good. It's good.
I approve.
Yeah. Oh well. And Folly.
Yes, I'd like you to answer that phone, please, because I called it.
That Folly will come back.
Yes.
But yeah, I believe you did. Yeah, but what I was really surprised by in a very, very positive way, that so far Folly was a little bit of a what the fuck is this thing doing here?
Yep, and
what is this Uber? What was the plan behind this Uber?
And now we know. Golden Blood had made to help knock out Tom
in order to stop Horizon. So, which is either it is a really, really elegant and smooth way of retconning and working this together, or, which I consider more likely, this is actually the plan.
Well,
Sombra often added a lot during writing. This is why his chapters usually expand far more than he's intending to. He gets a lot of ideas and puts all of them in there. But with Foley, he named this entire thing Project Horizon, so I guess he must have had a certain idea what it was supposed to be from the very beginning.
Yes.
So...
But there are two other plans. Well, I think there's one other plan. We've got Celestial 1, haven't we? The Twilight Society. Noah and Lifebloom talked to Blackjack, saying that if things in the hoof go bad, the Twilight Society will literally obliterate everything with Celestial 1, the Mega Spell launcher.
The Sun Spell. Yeah. Yeah, but for me it's like, they have basically a fallback in Celestia 1. They have a plan B. But they did not account for that. So that Foley, actually, when has Foley been introduced? Chapter 20, 30? Way back,
early on. Yeah. I think she got the gun before she got the first shell, which was at the air center, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I believe she found the bullet even earlier. She found the bullet very early on.
I think so.
And wasn't sure what to do with it, but she kept it anyways. So I dare to believe that, yes, he had the idea that Foley was created to stop Horizon manually, that this idea was there from the beginning. Yep. If not, well, I pay Sombra too much credit right now, but I have the feeling it fits. It fits too well to be made up on spot.
It'll be very...
like certain other things.
Yes. Yeah, there are some things in there, well, later on that are really big. What on earth happened there points to me, but that's later.
Even so, there is... I believe I have to jump here right now, if it is okay, with sure. Twist. The Twist that apparently... I mean, last time I was like, when did Peppermint ever get mentioned? Where does this daughter singing come from? I don't get it!
Yeah, I think they screwed the pooch on this one. That memory orb made no sense.
Yes and no. I was very, very critical the entire time. I was wondering how the heck did this orb, first of all, when and where did those memories extracted and how did it get there in a locked room in this building?
That was my question. I mean, they either have a Peppermint go back, use a recollector, because she's not a unicorn, use the memory orb, put it in the office, and lock the office. Why would she do that?
It is a little bit holy. It is not perfectly smooth, but he tried to explain it afterwards. I mean, basically, with many memory orbs, you could ask the same question. How that convenient memory when and where this convenient memory had been extracted to be in this particular orb.
Yeah, I remember one of those.
The question you can ask this question with every second memory orb. In this case, I have the feeling that it was too much and he felt the need to add a little bit of an explanation either, with Blackjack going over it, that those memories had so much collected guilt in it. That she was like, I can remember how guilty Twist felt, and it must have been too much for Peppermint to have the guilt of Twist and herself for being saved by the sacrifice of somebody else. So I guess what he is implying is that, yes, she got the memory intentionally removed and put it there, or let somebody else put it there for her.
That would make sense.
Yeah, this is basically, I mean, how does a memory which was made during the fall of this building and on the way out, how does this get back in there? So somebody must have been involved, and as you said, she is not a unicorn, so she probably had somebody, she was too guilt. Either somebody found the young filly who was just not stopping crying and was just like, I have to take all those bad memories away. Somebody with some unicorn, some old unicorn who just wanted to help this little filly and who probably knew her from the base. So she was not the only survivor. Some unicorn found her, took away the bad memories, and later went back to the base and placed them there. Some backstory. I can see it. I usually am not very pleased when you have to go there and fill in the plot holes or the plot holes for the writer. When you make excuses, it's usually something I condemn, but in this case, I at least can see how it happened, but yes, I agree. It was a bit of a stretch that...
Yes.
That somebody took the effort to bring it back there, seal it in this locked room.
There had to be a lot of effort to put for the whole sake of the argument.
Yes. Just to put it in this dramaturgic-wise interesting
and behind the
place.
picture as well.
Yes, yes.
But I did think it was nice that they explain why she's got red stripes. Playing with shoes paint.
But I personally was like, really? Because she used the magical dye that the what are the renegade zebras called? Yeah, she was. Her name was Chu, but it was a thing that got established earlier that zebras who fight for the ponies got red stripes to mark their kind of who they are siding with. They stand out in the battle. Exactly. So that they are not. That first of all they kind of commit to being fighting for the ponies and not getting killed by their fellow ponies.
Which isn't always 100% certain.
Yes, but the explanation that I would have preferred if she actually got the stripes from the Phoenix Orb.
Yes, that's what my original thoughts were with that.
Yes, mine as well. And now it's like, because, I mean, for 69 chapters, okay, Rampage got introduced later, but for, let's say, 49 chapters of this book, whenever Rampage got introduced, I was completely sure that Rampage is Twist. And that she got the stripes from the orb because there was a zebra in it. And I mean, I believe Blackjack even had this particular thought. Blackjack thought this herself, that this pony got the stripes because the soul of this
it made sense.
deserter zebra is in it, and that's a magic who
zebra's
died
soul is
the zebra.
Basically defines the body.
Because it's a magical dye, and now it's like, the filly used the magical dye on herself, and now she has it forever?
That kinda sucks.
It's really like, okay, a little filly painting herself out of child's play with an apparently unremovable dye, which is so strong that...
It's permanent.
It stays...
Even if you're vaporized.
Yeah, permanent, even through death.
Must be some powerful stuff.
Yeah, and if this stuff is so potent and powerful, then I would also buy the original explanation that it was trapped in the zebra's soul, and that therefore whoever gets the orb implanted develops those stripes over time as well.
Yes, exactly.
So why not go with this way? This was, I believe, it was thrown in there as a nice gimmick and to make sure, yes, she is really Rampage, but for me it was like, it felt so unnecessary to give this explanation for something that has already been established, how it works or could work.
Yeah.
And now it's like...
Oh, it was a little joke. Oh.
Yeah, little Philip did a paint job on herself.
Looking like a runt issue.
Yeah.
Which, once again, that answers the question again. Cause that means that that Twist must have had that kid while she was still in relationship with Shu the zebra, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, she was Aunt Shu for her. But basically, the scenes we get where Twist basically... Twist got raped by Doofus shortly after Big Mac's death, because everybody was still traumatized, and this was his way to vent, his backfiring way. And shortly after that, Twist was the last remaining what's it called? Marauder.
Yes,
Marauder.
That's it.
The last remaining Marauder. So then we get this one flashback scene where Twist is with her zebra girlfriend in a bar, where they got involved in this bar fight. I'm not sure when we had this, but this must have taken place after the rape as well, because she wasn't so open about it before. This was, I believe it was also referred to that she had a higher rank now and that she was the only last Marauder and stuff like this. So at this point, she must already have her little child running around somewhere.
Exactly.
And also when she is out there in the zebra lands and Shu gets killed, she still must have had her little...
Her kid must have been back at the Skyports.
Yeah, I guess so, but it never gets mentioned, and she's just out drinking, getting into bar fights.
Yeah, Great to be a good good example for your kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I still say Peppermint was added later on. She wasn't the original idea. At some point, Sombra was like, and after he already threw in a possible explanation for the red stripes, because he wrote it for so long that he made it look that Rampage is Twist for so long.
Same here. I thought it was Twist.
Yeah.
Well, if I was honest, I really thought that she wasn't actually one pony. She was just a huge conglomeration of different ponies, but with no body.
Yeah. But the body was Twist's body, with the zebra stripes coming through from... Yeah, exactly. This was my interpretation of it as well. And so I have a very strong feeling he retconned himself there, because he had the idea that, hey, adding a child into the mix... And at least it gives Rampage a more backstory, I have to admit. Because all the nitpicking aside, I really like this idea that Blackjack is like, I found a reason for Rampage to live.
Yes, I thought that was good. This is going to be so crucial later on in the story.
Mm. And at least he didn't pull it out of his ass completely, because somebody also mentioned that Peppermint had been mentioned earlier. I don't know when. It must have been a small mentioning, because I overread it.
I'm not reading back through it to find out.
No, man. But yeah, somebody left a comment like, well, Peppermint has been... on the last video, somebody left a comment that Peppermint had been mentioned earlier. So I have to simply believe this commenter and be like, okay, so he, at some point, Sombra had the idea and he started throwing in a little bit of hints towards it, so he can get on it later, like now.
Yes, exactly.
And so it wasn't completely out of his ass, apparently. I don't know. For me, it came still like, what? Last chapter, so...
Yeah, that was the same for me. It was like, hang on, this doesn't make sense. Doof's a dad?
Yeah. I also was like, okay, Doof is getting close to Rampage because he is recognizing Twist in her, his old love. But no! Child.
Yeah.
What?
Well, exactly. Once again, getting back on in the chapel, it was quite nice. I'm going, like, meeting Thrush again on the seahorse. That was hilarious for me, when talking about how you survived the destruction. And then she's going, no, it's just a scorch. So, Captain, we nearly lost the top deck. It was fine. Yes. But they nearly sunk us. It's perfectly fine. We lost 3 bottles of the perfect whiskey. It was a tragedy. It was a horrible massacre.
I know this moment still stuck out to me like hell when Thrust, whatever her name is, was introduced the first time at P21, and the first mate just come off the boat and are like, oh my god, there are 2 of them.
Yep. How do I know you're the real Blackjack? Gets a bottle.
Good enough. Oh, this changes things. But this captain is amazing. I love her.
I love her subtlety. When they have, I think it's Pisces in the water, she's going how she thought that Brutus was cute. So how subtle is she?
Wow.
Do you have a port for his ship?
Port for
I
his
do,
ship?
thank you, and it's none of your business.
It's none of your business. Oh yeah, but which kind of, it's not even on my notebook, but it reminded me of something I thought during reading, because it started at this point, good old creating a lot of romances. I mean, Lacoon and, or in this case, Psalm and Stormhoof are kind of a longer established one. Even so, how Crumpet described it is, he loves you, he truly loves you.
Yeah,
this
she got
so rare.
very unsubtle when she started saying that.
And I was a bit like, okay, they fought side on side once.
They shared a dance at the society.
But but I'm trying to go through it chronologically. They fought side by side, but at this point, the goddess was pretty much taking over, like, using another knight to shoot. Oh, okay. I believe he afterwards went to her and was like, oh, my madam, and taking her hoof and being very gentle, cold, and everything, but... Okay, he was impressed by her, he recognized her, but this is not true love, which is so rare! And yes, then they had this one evening at the society. I give Sombra that yes, it can only be one evening you need. But as I recall, Lacoon was at this point in time very, very reserved and not really willing to completely go into it.
Yeah,
so
she
I don't believe they...
She was suffering from all the emotions inside.
Yes, and I mean, it was 2 days before she sacrificed herself, so she was already in kind of a doomsday sentiment. So I don't really see this particular knight giving enough for true love in this size as well. I mean, even if they had a little bit of happy fun time afterwards, which I also don't really believe they were supposed to have had, but maybe.
It never crossed my mind.
They were both adults. Yeah, but it never popped because Lacoon was always so not into it, and Lacune, or whatever her name is called.
That's right.
And Stronghoof was too gentle called to act on it, so he was not
I would
like...
have thought too much of a gentleman, just to go right at it.
What is the prince's name who was not so much of a reserved gentle code when it came to glory?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but he pretty much...
well, he did.
Yeah. Oh, yes, he sure did. So, yeah, this is still one I don't... May I reference Frozen at this point, where they have an entire joke making fun about how those instant romances do not work?
It was good. That was...
Yeah. So, I like the romance, but playing it so big like, this is true love!
He's loved you since he first saw you. Go to him.
Which, yeah, it's like... I like the idea of what Crumpet is saying, that, hey, take it. No, he really... But making it seem to be this true love... I mean,
and sparkles
once again,
everywhere.
Yeah, they probably had a few more weeks in the stable. I mean, Lacune or Psalm returned to the stable, and she was like, "I'm not her. I'm really not." And this was a few weeks back when Blackjack was still trapped in the core and was just watching everybody through the thingy.
So we could give him about a fortnight of them actually trying to get to know each other.
Yeah, but apparently they are still not really close because she is still avoiding him. So. I have a little bit... I mean, with all the stuff that happens in this particular chapter, my suspension of disbelief has really a little bit of trouble with this particular line.
Indeed. And we also got like the hint that Whisper is actually pregnant now.
Oh, yes.
She's looking very...
Yes, but also, Blackjack just saw her 3 days ago.
Yeah, in the orgy.
Yes, and in the castle. Then she went to the Zodiacs. Then she went a little bit. Then she went to Starhouse. She had the big meeting. Then she traveled a day around, and now we are. I don't know. Maybe a week later.
I think it's now like 3 or 4 days.
What?
If I was going to make a guess.
but basically, let it be a week.
But we could easily admit that she's been with Stiggy for about 3 months, so she could have been easily pregnant beforehand.
Yes. But that's not the point I mean. The point I mean is like, why is it now so much more obvious to Blackjack than 7 days than just a week ago?
I see your point.
Yes, that's my point. Not that she's pregnant. She had a lot of time to actually be pregnant enough to show, but
yeah, it just now comes up.
It still seems to be very subtle, since Blackjack is also not sure. Like, is it just me, or does she look a little bit radiant? So maybe in this more calm setting, she first looked at it this way, but it's like, yeah. But it's a nice thing. I mean, this is also a couple I totally approve of. Yeah, the one with the sea pony and Brutus.
Yes. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but...
Well, apparently she has the necessary port, so...
Well, she said so. Hey, maybe Bruce is into
yeah, but... Maybe. But I have... This is kind of... I believe it's a very American thing. I mean, and at least I heard a lot of people complaining in movies, in video games, and so on, that Americans also have to throw in love interests and romance and stuff like this, even though a story doesn't necessarily need it. But then again, I can see it that with all the characters, with the 60 characters we have there, that some of them fall a little bit for each other.
Exactly.
different example for, but it was so thrown in there, just like, oh, he is cute. They talk about it and then they drop it again. Not unlike the one with the burner and Desert.
Oh yes.
This one was hinted towards earlier, and I like this one really. Like how those two from the different gangs really start to recognize each other and spend a little bit of time with first calmly, and it's not like, I have seen this random stallion over there. He is totally hot. I wonder if I can. This felt a little bit forced. While
more natural, it felt like a good progression.
Exactly, and with again with the burner and the sparkler flasher.
Yes, that's it.
This one feels, first of all, it has a lot of symbolism going on with the gangs kind of moving towards each other. All have their baggage, but now those two are kind of
things than their petty arguments.
Yes. Yeah, and their appearance or something. But I mean, this is basically the reason why the burners stick together, because they're all ugly as hell.
Yes.
This is the main reason. They explained why they've grouped together to begin with. So I like this one, but the one with the, I guess this one with the sea pony and Brutus was just thrown in there for jokes. I mean, the sea ponies are most of the time used for jokes or for very, very brutal scenes to hate your antagonists when they are
drying out on the Celestia.
Yes, drying out in the ship. It was like,
you Steel Ranger
Steel Rain, I want you to die. And yes, he died, and it felt so good when he melted.
Yeah, that was another big point, wasn't it? When Blackjack went to the Skyport because she went her IF-88 AnYPony.
Oh, God. Again, you don't have to know where I get one. Dring. What? Really? But then again, it was a nice conclusion to this running gag with Blackjack always
looking out for it. We look at it in the magazines.
This one as her dream weapon. Yes, yes. It was a nice callback that they actually did that. But yeah, with the Harbingers and the Nail, the second in command.
Yeah, and it was quite good because at the beginning of the chapter when Blackjack was saying how she's not a leader, she's not a good leader of these ponies, she's letting the better ponies deal with the war council. Yet on that rooftop, she showed the opposite. She showed she was a good leader. She was getting those harbingers back together, getting them to actually start shooting straight and not stop panicking.
Yes, yes. Oh, and I have to say, even so, Sombra has a little bit the problem of writing a movie. He often, stuff he describes, I can totally see it in my mental image because I know the kind of scenes in movies he is describing.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
But I believe some scenes are really hard for people to visualize the way he describes them if they are not familiar with this kind of trope he is feeding there. But this out of the way, God, I love the scene when Blackjack jumps into action, like, teleport on back of one, shoot this, jump
off the building, teleport back on the building.
Teleport back on the ground and bam, the bodies
walking
down behind
walking down the line of the soldiers, going, you shoot this one, you use your energy weapon.
Yes,
why are you firing so wildly?
This is a fucking 80s movies crap I meant, which is like...
Yeah, made me think my old
awesome
war dramas. The soldiers firing away, the officers marching behind guns. Stay fire steady, lads, keep your aim.
Yes. Yeah. And
it
then
was
you
classic.
Have the Super Pony entering, like, yes. I'm like, get back to do your bloody job. Really, like, cool guys don't look at explosions. She's just landing, and behind her the bodies drop, and she's not even looking. It's like,
yeah, she's surrounded by 3 Zebras with swords. She fights them off, hits the first, punches the second, teleports away from the third.
And also the small details in the writing, like. It was total chaos. There was once an Earth pony putting stuff into boxes and throwing them over the building, and I was like, okay, that's really everything crazy. And then it turns out, well, it's P-21, and he's just building his usual bombs.
Yep. And which was a nice. And you had a Pegasus firing wildly with her huge beam cannon. And she goes, I'm much more adept with magical weapons. Oh, hang on, it's Glory.
Yeah, but this one was kind of concluded too quickly. In my eyes, because it was like wonder and oh, it's Glory. But when they did the same thing with P-21, it was like,
it was like
I loved it. Oh, so yeah, the random feature they put in earlier to describe the chaos on roof turned out to be P-21 actually doing his thing, which was I didn't see this one coming. It was amazing.
And I got a kick when they teleported down next to Calamity. And what does Calamity do to Blackjack?
Bam! Oh god damn it, why do they always dress like the enemy?
You gotta tell me when you're gonna dress like the enemy.
But god damn it, it was like, I'm sorry about your two friends. Like, no! Fuck no! And, oh god, this was like... Also, where we at this particular scene with... When they enter the Harbinger state, and Blackjack is like, oh, this voice seems familiar, but she does not address where from. And I was like,
oh yes, him.
Then she describes the doctor, and like, okay, a grey doctor which looks familiar. With the hundreds of characters we got introduced so far, how am I supposed to remember this one? Whom is he describing?
Well, at least they told us.
Really, if he wouldn't have kind of revealed who those voices were and give enough hints so you can recall, right, now I get it. I mean, if they only were gone like Scalpel, I still probably wouldn't have been able to pinpoint it. But with being like Scalpel from Flank, I was like, oh, okay. Now I cannot remember her, but at least now I know where to put her.
Yep. And even
with Nail also, that Nail was the one Harbinger she saw in the clinic.
Yep.
And was like dum, and he was just leaving. That this kind of I wouldn't have got it if he wouldn't have addressed it directly, because his story is just too long.
Yeah, like I said, there's just been so many characters, so many stories. It is very hard to keep track of every single character. I can't remember half the names.
Yeah, I mean, later at the party when there are a lot of characters coming in, I was like...
I was just going through the list and trying to think where I've seen them before. And it was not easy. I didn't manage it.
I got, I believe, 3/4 or something, but there were just some names, especially when there's like, this one, hey, there was a green stallion, hey, so-and-so, haven't seen you in a long time.
Oh, look, it's the red one, it's Ares.
I don't even know who you are. So,
and at least with Steel Rain, he was still being a dick, even in his message to the Harbingers, wasn't he?
Yes.
I want you to nail her down and form a conga line behind her.
But I mean, he probably does know that Nail actually did this, didn't he? Like, he nailed Blackjack down and he raped her and...
They took turns.
Well, yes. So this is kind of what Steel Rain... But I really thought it was interesting that even so, he was like, so you are the real deal. Did you kill him? Okay, I have a message from him in case you killed him. Place the message and the message ends with, kill her. And he's like, well, it was really like, okay, why is he playing this message? Why is he like playing this message while all his soldiers are ready to fire? And he's like, and it ends with a command like, kill her good. And he's just like, well, I'm still considering. You know what? You wouldn't screw me over as the other Blackjack. I side with you.
Yeah, we don't like the other one. We're better off with you. And plus, how is he going to succeed?
And fun fact, they actually were. I mean, the other one was willing to sacrifice, and she didn't give a... Cognitum doesn't give a crap about the pony.
Which is true.
Yeah.
So it's nice seeing there's dissent in the Harbingers now.
Yeah. And I mean, the patheticness of the Harbingers never has been so... it never was addressed so clearly. That they are really just random ponies, got a lot of gear. But they have most of them have no clue what to do. Yes, most of them are just ordinary wastelanders who got sparkling guns and new armor. That's it.
Unfortunately, good equipment does not make a soldier.
Nope.
So many armies have made that mistake in history, and it will always happen again.
Sad story. But yeah, I like that now even the Harbingers are kind of filling the army of I don't know. Blackjack, the good guys. How do you call this conglomerate of everybody?
I say it's the Mass Effect kind of thing, and like you said with Fallout as well. You're getting your war assets together. I just hope there's not going to be a rubbish ending that has 3 colour filters.
Oh my god. Somber, if you are watching this, and if the last chapter is a make your choice chapter, and you just dye the font in a different color and tell the same text for all 3 chapters, I am getting really angry with you. Just putting it out there. Don't do the Mass Effect.
We do not want multiple choice.
First of all, don't do multiple choice. Second, don't do different colors.
Yeah. What do I do? If you choose the red path, you'll destroy everything. But you will save Equestria.
Then again, it would be interesting to be like one chapter where Blackjack is put into a situation where she has to choose between firing FoE and destroying it, being like
diverting it into the sea, because that's what Legate's plan was. Because he's going to divert it once Cognitum's in the rocket.
Okay. But yeah, we also have to different sacrifices on Blackjack's end. So if she uses FoE, she will die herself, for example, or she will become one with the taint.
Yeah.
If she converts it to the sea, her baby will die because it has to destroy the rocket. And solution number 3,
Celestia 1 destroys everything.
Exactly, but then the baby lives.
Yeah, because
something like that.
At least I like Blackjack's plan for fighting Cognitum. I was even partially right with that one with the spark grenade. Just forgot the Wonder Glue.
Yes.
What's your plan?
Yeah, but
teleport on the back of her, shove the Wonder Glue on her back, and so she can't get it away, and have Scotch tape take her legs off.
Yeah, well, exactly. But also the funny thing is that she is like, I jump on her back because she expects it, and then P21 camps and puts the grenade there. Then she's like, yes, well, I plotted how to defeat myself.
Yep, kind of lame, isn't it?
This is really a conversation you can only have between Golden Blood and Blackjack, plotting against your own plans.
And having Psalm warning her, at least that Golden Blood shall be loyal to her, as long as it suits him, and she doesn't betray herself.
Revenging recalling ponies. What the fuck am I going?
Hey, you want to really confuse me when having Sweetiebot and Applebot come back into the fray. That felt a bit funny.
Yes,
bit
yes.
pushed.
And did you read the writer's notes at the end?
I did.
All of
Most
them.
Of them.
Because one of the co-writers or the proofreaders or whatnot, he was like, yeah, I added this one. I wanted to have synthetic good guys who do not get destroyed right away. And he has a good point. Applebot, Bloombot, Apple Bloombot,
Sweetiebot and
whatever.
Apple Bloombot.
Yeah, Apple Bloombot. The name kind of... There's a syllable too much. The nice flow is not there with Apple Bloombot.
Yeah, Applebot.
Sweetiebot rolls off the tongue. Apple Bloombot doesn't work. Nevertheless, it was really like introducing, destruction, end.
Yeah.
And she was, I believe she was built up a chapter long with, there's this mystery contact and everything, and then she was like, bam, sniper, done. What?
Oh, well.
And while Sweetiebot has been established in flashbacks,
yes,
she was really like, when she actually was there, okay, first she was just the host body for Cognitum, and as soon as she was out of the body,
she went back to normal.
5 pages later, five pages later, bam, broken. And I can see the co-writer's point being like, I want a nice robot who is allowed to live for longer. So yeah, he brought back the established ones.
Hey, I'm just banking to go and find a scooter bot.
Yeah, oh god. And especially Blackjack, like, I was picturing them dragging a sentinel with them who was fanboying over Rainbow Dash. And Sweetiebot, this is actually on my list here. Sweetiebot, oh my god. I mean, originally Sweetiebot was just this kind of token to show what a disgusting chauvinist horse was. With having his sex bot in her and creating this sex bot after an actual living person, or pony in this case, and banging her and having her as this obedient slave who is like, oh yes, Mr. Horse,
you're such an important pony. You're the most important pony in the whole world.
Yes, I mean, she was basically designed to make horse look disgusting as a character.
And it worked.
Because, God, what a disgusting person creates this kind of slave robot who is licking his ass the entire time, being his sex slave, and looking like a real pony he also harasses.
Yeah, that goes 100%
He
creepy.
is such a
and messed up.
Yes, but oh God, the payback.
That line.
Well, I have a little bit of his DNA. I could clone him. He would be a mindless, soulless drone.
I know.
Yes,
He'll be
he
perfect.
would be perfect. I literally had to pause for a minute because I was like, whoa.
Yep, I was just thinking, yes, bang, perfect.
Like this puts her entire previous demeanor so much into new context. Like, yes, sir, yes. Oh, he would be so perfect. He would be a mindless drone.
Yep. Beautiful.
Oh, this has Harley Quinn devoted love insanity. I love it.
It was brilliant.
Oh my God! So, but yeah, them bringing back. I guess it was kind of fan service to himself by this co-writer. I was also skeptical because it felt so not necessary, but seeing the context with later on, like, yeah, he intentionally added them so that we have some good robots who do not get killed. I like this notion, and while they do not really add too much, except a few punchlines, a few very good punchlines, as we just discovered, and of course the ones that the Matrix from the interrogation chamber is now part of Apple Bloom.
Yeah, exactly. And at least they're not...
By the way, have you changed your mind about killing by generosity? No, killing by mercy. No, I haven't. Okay, I just wanted to check. Moving on.
Okay, move. Yeah, and once again, it's nice that they're not going to get too involved. Hopefully, they should survive. Wasn't it? They're saying, so can you help us? Well, we can if she uses the broadcaster.
Yeah, that's also a nice thing that they are there as some kind of limitation for cognitive abilities, but not too much of a throwback. Yeah.
And it was also good seeing that Glory and Tenebra, I think her name is.
Yeah, but even so, this kind of again falls into the this is kind of gray area between too forced and actually feeling like legit. I mean, there was a certain lack of partners for both of them, and they were both like you would allow both of them. You want both of them to see happy because they're both lovable characters. So
yeah, I had to feel sorry for Tenebra with her having epilepsy and being a big problem for her.
Yes. Yeah. But I already felt so bad for her the first time. And yeah, especially since she's a flyer, it's even double.
She's expected to be in
dangerous.
close quarter combat. She's not, like I said, she's not used to using a rifle.
Yeah, but, well, she got a good mentor now, I guess. Yeah. Even so, learning shooting the rifle until the next day could be a bit tricky.
They've only got 24 hours left, according to Golden Blood.
Especially considering that they're probably spending the next few hours differently.
Yes, a bit more happy fun time.
Yes.
And it also was funny having Hades, their dad, beating him doing an eating contest. Just passing the food on him and he's trying it by random.
Yeah. But with Tenebra, I mean, it has been established that she is at least bisexual because she was blushing about Blackjack. So I guess it kind of works that they were shown. But again, it's happening a bit quick. That is it really just rebound sex for her, or is it supposed? I mean, sure, you can start a relationship with sex. Having sex very early on does not reduce the quality of the relationship afterwards.
It doesn't guarantee it either.
It may complicate and it may complicate things if the relationship is not going anywhere, or you feel that now you have to go somewhere because you did already do this big step. And we know that Glory has a rather conservative mindset. So
I'm going on with the theory that as it's like they've only got 24 hours left before before Tom hits the Earth, most of them are trying to make the most out of their last evening together. It's like saying, we might not see each other again. We might both die tomorrow. Like one last
it's pretty much the reason why they
give you something worth fighting for.
The entire
I think
party.
it's the other thing.
Yeah, and it's the reason for the entire party they're throwing. So
yep.
it kind of makes sense that they are doing things a little bit faster than usual. And, I mean, it has been well established that Glory has her urges quite well.
Oh, yes.
I mean, she pretty much kissed Blackjack first a long time ago. So, yeah, she put on the moves often enough.
She was the one who snapped
kind of
Blackjack out of her depression, wasn't she?
This as well, yeah, with the collar.
Yep. Every time you feel bad,
and also,
you're getting spanked. Until you stop feeling so bad.
I guess I need my own Glory and my own depressions now.
Amen.
I didn't say this in a podcast, did I?
Say what?
What else is on my... Nothing. What else is on my notes? There was something else I wanted to address, but it's not on my note, but I forgot. I wanted to address it while we talked earlier. Not earlier, during the show. And oh, look what's here. How did the orb get there? It's on my note as well.
Yep. Well, that's still going to be a big question.
Now I know what I mean with recognizing and recalling ponies. With the thing we addressed earlier, that bringing back characters like the Scalpel, which you do not recognize at first. But yeah, we kind of already talked about that. But I do remember the aspect I wanted to address.
Go on.
The skeleton outside of the port, the skyport. The way it gets addressed, like, oh, Blackjack saw the skeleton with the photos again, some raiders have taken stuff apart. The way this is addressed is that probably the skeleton with the pictures has been there when they first when they first came through the crater out of it.
Yes. And
so, if this pony, the skeleton with the photos, has already back then been intended to be Twist. Oh god, we have been totally wrong, haven't we?
Yeah.
Or Sombra didn't make his case clear who is supposed to be
I didn't give it a second thought.
Rampage.
It's like, you're walking down a hallway, you see a picture, and you don't even think about it ever again. Until...
Yes,
but now we've got the details, like Twist and escape, it now makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, and there are literally always skeletons everywhere, and they all have a little bit of tragic story to them. And it's often pointed out that, well, this skeleton there looks to have a very tragic story. But so this is why I could not recall it. But now that the way he introduces it, I don't think that Sombra would just be like, Blackjack sees the skeleton from back then, and actually there has never been a skeleton. So I simply believe that the skeleton has been there the first time.
Yep.
With the photos and everything. So once again, the question, when was this? And has it originally been supposed to be Twist or just a sad reminder of how the wasteland looks?
It's hard to say.
I don't know. When did they flee from the spaceport the first time? Was it when they got attacked by the Manticores?
I'm just thinking it was after they freed the slavers and fought...
Wait. No. In the spaceport, there is the interrogation room. It was when Glory got burned.
Yes, that's it.
That's I guess then they had to flee, and then they probably came through the crater and discovered the skeleton. So this was really early on. This was before the first cybernetic enhancement. I mean,
and it was the first time she fired FoE as well, because she fired it and took out like half a building. And then they light hooves and took off, left, and they were basically left to escape themselves. And like I said, they had to fight the Manticores thing. It's too long ago. I can't remember.
Have the Manticores already been then? I believe the Manticores were later. When the Manticores appeared when Blackjack was already... Oh no, the first appearance of the Manticores. I remember that when Blackjack discovered that the Manticore, that head Manticore is actually
yes, because she had to make an anti-venom, didn't she?
Yeah, at this point she was already one-eyed with everything.
Jelly-legged.
She was already in... Yeah, I believe... Did she have the jelly legs... When did she lose her eye and when did she get the jelly legs?
She lost her eye and her legs turned rubber after they were underground. And they fired Trottenheimer for the second time, I think.
On the monster.
Because they finally found the lift, getting themselves up to the surface and away from the innovation.
she did something stupid that her legs turned rubber, didn't she? She combined stuff. She combined something that should not have been combined. I believe she used some kind of drug again.
Yes, might have been Hydra or something, or...
Probably, yeah.
There's so many drugs in this one, it's hard to keep track.
True story. But yeah, I would really like... Okay, let's make it this way. If somebody in the comment section does recall when they first left the Skyport and discovered the skeleton the first time, tell me which chapter I want to read it again.
Yeah, leave it in the comments below.
I want to read this passage... Exactly. Because... And look if somebody already left it. I only will sum up the first one, so... Be the first one or you not get a sum up from me. And a thank you reply. Okay, I guess I'm through with my notes.
Yeah.
What else is to say? Yeah, the big party. First of all, it was. I have a little bit of mixed feelings about the big party, because on the one hand, it is a nice thing to see all the characters, to have really this big
get together, party, booze.
Exactly, build up before the final showdown, to see all the characters from the entire journey, to meet them all once again. It has a nice feel to it. It is a little bit Hollywood, it's a little bit cliche, but as I established earlier, I love Project Horizon for its sanity to be a bit stupid, so I don't really judge it for
much more over the top, which is good.
Exactly, so let's throw a big party. And yeah, as I said, it was nice to see all the characters. Also the eardropping was nice. Typical Blackjack.
More funny when Glory just turned around and knew she was there.
Yeah, I had to reread this as well, because Glory was like, I believe Blackjack was right, and it's like, Tenebra, about what? Tenebra asked, and so did I. So was she supposed to say it out loud? Or was she just thinking it? It was a little bit confusing. I would like, was she really this dumbfounded at this moment? But it doesn't make sense to be like that. She really is like speaking out loud. Nevertheless, Glory was not surprised at all. Glory knew exactly that she was standing.
Was it a sex marathon? She called it.
Yes, exactly. But I have the feeling. But right now, I just picture Glory, whenever she talks intimate, being like turning around with a smartass look, because Blackjack stood behind her so often that now she's just doing it on the off chance. So she does it, and 9 out of 10 times Blackjack is not standing behind her, and she's just like, Oh, never mind. Okay, what was I saying? So that's the one time that Blackjack is standing behind her, eardropping, that she can be like, badass. I knew that you have been there.
I know what you did.
Wait, didn't you turn out the last 10 conversations as well randomly? No, I didn't.
Oh, and I have one big question mark. When they were going through the names, they had Sonata and Adagio come up. That really confused me, because those are 2 names from the Rainbow Rocks video.
What?
Yeah, they're 2 of the names of the bad guys. Well, bad girls.
I'm not... even though I haven't... I stopped... I only watched the official small ones, but not the... Yeah, the shorts, but not the previews, so... Because spoilers!
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I don't know.
It just threw me off.
Were they supposed to be characters we already knew?
I can't.
Or were they supposed to be new characters?
Once again, it's the problem of knowing which characters they are, because it's like I said, it's been such a long storyline. It's very hard to keep track of everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if they were supposed to be familiar characters. I guess it's either a big coincidence, or he threw it in there in the past when the first time they leaked some information about the bad guys as a little bit of a hint. Or if they were new characters, I guess he could also just put them in as some kind of homage to Equestria Girls 2.
It's hard to tell, but...
Yeah.
I said...
Once again, Somber, if you're watching this, leave your explanation in the comments below.
Much appreciated.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, I pretty much have everything from my thing.
Yeah,
I'm really like you, but you really get the feeling we are right before. I mean, in this chapter, everything moved a lot quicker the last 2 chapters when they were really getting back to the big conflict. But really, now we are literally at the evening before hell breaks loose. The big final epic battle is happening in the next chapter.
Yep, there's 24 hours left, and there's not many chapters to go.
Exactly. So yeah, shit is getting real with 71, I guess.
It'd be interesting to see how he can keep it all going, to keeping it all flowing. So I know from most books I've read, it's very hard to keep battles constant, make you understand what's going on. It's very easy to get confused.
He could try to emulate what K-Cat did in the original with literally the narrator Little Pip going to the audience and being like, hey guys, please, I want to spread out events. And what K-Cat / Little Pip did, because Little Pip as a narrator is, it's this kind of construct in and of itself, that she mixed up the events like as they happened, the flash forwards to Little Pip checking on her friends when she is already as SPP, exactly, and the final 6 memory orbs. She's mixing all 3 elements together, but in a way that they complement each other, that they work very well together and actually build up. And that in the end, when she is really, we are at the final moment, she's like, I want to see my friends, and we don't get then all the sequences. She starts like, okay, now this, now him, now her, now, and then we move to the real big moment quicker. So this was all very, very nicely done. I was really, really interested in with the conclusion of everything.
It's
like, does Sombra actually have something up his sleeve to make something similar to Little Pip, like the twist at the end that, the entire book just read from the very first chapter.
I remember reading that. I was
wait,
what?
Freaked.
We've been reading
Yes, I was so freaked out when I reached this point in the story when she literally started retelling the story. I was like, never-ending story.
I was just
yes, exactly. Mind blown. Absolutely. And I mean, this is, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the actual story of the never-ending story.
I watched the movies.
I guess in the movies it doesn't came through this well, but in the never-ending story, Bastian Balter, the books, actually, when they reach this book of time, of whatever, and they read the book, and the book is the book itself, the book in the book. It's a bookception. I need a soundboard that can play the soundtrack whenever I need it. Exactly. And they do the same thing. Like they start reading the entire story from the beginning again in the book. They restart the book in the book because the book exists in itself. Right. Bookception, as I said. And I haven't seen this kind of really freaky storytelling element anywhere else in a meaningful way, so I can recall it. Oh, right, there was one horror movie which actually did it rather brilliantly as well. A Stephen King movie, I don't know, something with kind of Cthulhu-themed horror, was rather brilliant. In the end, he watched himself, his own journey in the cinema, and he was like, just going insane. It was amazing. But yeah, this was the 3rd example ever for me, which I can recall, where they did this kind of storytelling feature in a meaningful and well-done way. And whoa, mind blown. I'm mind blown. And I on this note, I wonder, does Sombra have something like it up his sleeve? But I really hope that if he does, I hope if he has something, I hope he does it because he has a really good idea for it, and not just to emulate the great idea from the original.
It wouldn't be fair on the original if he didn't. It wouldn't be fair on his storyline if he just did something like that. Mainly,
it wouldn't work this well. I mean, it was built up from the very, very, very first prelude chapter of Fallout Equestria. I mean, K-Cat teased people, as I heard later on. K-Cat used to tease people very early on that the final words of the story are already written. But then she was snickering to herself because they are the very first words of the story. So it was an amazing twist she had planned from the very, very, very beginning. And I don't really see this considering the beginning of Project Horizon.
Yes, but I'm still hoping for a happy ending for Blackjack. At least she was saying she's fully happy with adopting kiddies. If she doesn't have her own. Because she has, like I said, she has a plan, doesn't she?
Yeah, and our question from last time is kind of answered. So which body? We asked it last time, and now we know what Blackjack's plan is. She is very, very clearly hoping to keep the clone
Get her body back, use it to stop Tom, put it into stasis, do something with Cognito, and then go back into her original clone body so she can live a normal life.
Yeah, she said put her clone back together because Cognito stole her special talent, Cutie Mark.
Snails probably to help out.
Yeah. Even so, I am still waiting for her to, in one freaky action, she's just like doing... But I mean, her Cutie Mark was supposed to resemble that she is winning. Winning was her special talent. Yep. And she is still, I just say, top of the airport, skyport.
She kicked ass.
She kicked ass. She is still a winner. So... I am waiting for her Cutie Mark to be like, bing, when she does something really awesome again.
We don't.
She is in a one-on-one. She's in a one-on-one with Cognito, and they are battling. And against all odds, Blackjack is seemingly
how are you winning?
Is winning, and exactly. And she's like, and Cognito is like, no, how can I stole your special talent?
Why can't I kill you?
Exactly, and then you see Blackjack's flank, and and her barding breaks apart for some reason, and you see the Cutie Mark has returned, and like action and metal music.
Yeah, damn straight.
That's what. Yeah, damn it. Okay, now if this actually happens, we can call plagiat to Somber. Like, he watched our podcast, he stole our idea.
Yep, we'll claim copyright.
Exactly. No worries.
We'd never do it to you, Somber.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, how is it going to end? I really don't know. At this point, pretty much now. I'm really interested how he's going to conclude it. We have so many possible outcomes. Like,
and we've still got Legate to deal with.
Oh god! Don't remind me of Legate. Then again, whatever is capable of killing Rampage should be capable of killing him as well.
Maybe we'll get a Trottenheimer to the face.
It's so amazing. Like. How I always forget him. In the last few chapters, it's always like, Cognitum, the brood, Cognitum. Is anybody forgetting this immortal motherfucker martial artist zebra running around?
Who's actually probably more of a bigger threat than Cognitum is.
Exactly,
he doesn't die and he fights like a devil.
Yes, and he barely gets mentioned. Everybody is just like, Horizon. Okay, Horizon means the end of the world, so it's a good point, but... Horizon, Cognitum, the Brood, but even when they talk about the Brood, they are like, well, he is going to use the Brood sooner or later. Like, but he is a fucking killing machine. What about him? Is nobody thinking about how? And then they also have plans how to bring down Cognitum.
Well,
has nobody a plan to bring down this? Yes,
you could win the day, but if he's still standing, you've got problems.
Yes, he is causing harm and everything for centuries already.
He needs to die. Maybe if we get lucky, Rampage will be the one to finish him.
I mean, for example, Cognitum is just wanting to take over the world. She's just a tyrant.
She just wants to turn us all into cyber ponies.
He is a exactly, but he is a prophet of doom.
He wants the Eater of Souls, doesn't he, to come back and and devour the world.
Exactly. Yes, he wants to bring doom to the world. Everybody's just worrying about this mad tyrant in a cyber pony body. What? Priorities, guys, priorities.
Like I said, they can knock out the Cognitum with one good spark grenade. What are they going to do against an immortal?
Yeah. But I mean, it's cool that they go after Cognitum first because they have a solid plan that they don't even talk about the Renman. Like, guys, you're missing something.
Guys, big scary monster zebra. Right.
Discord's nemesis for centuries. Pay attention to him, please. But yeah, big battle. No idea where they're going to put it. Also, yeah, what are they going to? Blackjack is the narrator. It's a first-person narration. I mean, we have had American Beauty, where the first-person narrator is talking from beyond the grave.
Yep, that's true.
This is possible. We have Little Pip, who is literally the narrator. I don't really see this one coming because it should have been established earlier that she is quite literally a narrator. But it's really this kind of first-person narrator like we have in Life and Times of a Winning Pony, it is just the protagonist who tells his story, but without an actual audience in mind. I mean, Little Pip had an actual, literal audience in mind.
Exactly.
So far, I have the feeling with Little Pip, with Blackjack, that it is a hard reset. That it is a first-person narrator, but with an imaginary audience. So all the comment, or like in Dexter,
Yes.
show, which I reflected on this recently because right out of this train of thought, I was like, It starts out in the early chapters, he is really talking to an audience. Later on, it becomes a little bit more of his thoughts, because it is just really his inner monologue we hearing out loud. But sometimes it's really him narrating to somebody, to an imaginary audience. And I have the feeling it's the same with Blackjack.
Yes.
That in the end, it will just be her like talking randomly. Without a particular audience in mind. But yeah, still the question, alive or not.
We can't tell. We won't know just yet.
Until it's done. I mean, being a Blackjack fan, I also wish so much for a happy ending for her. I mean, I know what happened when I thought that Little Pip had a bad ending. And this was half as long of a story.
Yep, and we also knew what was coming for Little Pip, because she knew what she had in mind long before the end.
But I was so hoping that something would happen. I was so hoping for Rainbow Dash Skeleton being in the pot and sealing the pot from the inside.
I remember you saying with Dr. Wolf.
Yes, I even did say it in the podcast, a moment with. Yeah, I was so hoping, like, I really literally had the idea. That's pretty much why I can retell the same idea I had. While reading, I was really hoping, because Rainbow Dash's fate was still unsure, that there was a dead Rainbow Dash inside the pot, and this pot was sealed. I was so hoping for it.
But not to be.
Yeah. I want Blackjack. Then again, as we no, don't cry wolf or something. No, it's not cry wolf. It's another phrasing. No. I don't want to say something in case I kind of create a self-fulfilling prophecy and
bit of a paradox kind of thing.
Yes. Either a paradox or I don't know. Maybe somebody is linking this podcast to Somber and he's watching it, and then he is like, "Oh, this very depressing ending this one of the guys just mentioned is really great. I will change my happy ending to this."
No, don't do it.
Exactly. This would be my self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, if I say how bad it could end, that it will end badly, and then I will be
tempting fate.
Yes. I don't want to tempt fate in that regard. I cannot. I can't need another depression, a week-long depression, unless somebody sends me a glory who spanks me whenever I get depressed. No, not going there. I'm German. I'm allowed to do this. I hope so.
Don't worry. When Lakune died, I was depressed for a couple of days.
Yes. But the story was moving on, and there was still this. It was a very uplifting death because she became part of all the others. She gave back. It was still it. I mean, yeah, you can say Little Pip sacrificed herself in the end for the good of others. So did Lakune.
Doesn't make you stop missing them, though.
Different. And maybe because it was in the middle of the story was still going on. So while it was a very depressing moment, the story moved on. You saw the characters being depressed with you, and you literally moved on alongside the story. With Little Pip, it was like the end. Like, no, don't do this. So, right. Yeah.
Oh, and the last good joke with the Nemesis thing. Derpy's Nemesis, Pinkie Pie on a muffin binge.
Yes. Oh, the Nemesis thing. It was a really nice thing, especially that they kind of concluded it with like, well, some find her childhood Nemesis rather late in life.
Oh, I love Charity. She's so funny.
Oh,
I love.
That's the package for blackjack, and of course, it also consisted of a bill, which was signed with. You have to pay if you survive.
I love the thing which had the jar of cats saying "Blackjack stupid comments" and they scratched out the blackjack and said "stupid comments."
Just stupid comments, exactly. You just wasted 30 seconds of my life. Pay 100 bits.
Yep. I now have my nemesis. Her name is Charity.
Well, saying this out loud sounds bad. My nemesis is Charity? If you don't know the context, it sounds really wrong. My nemesis is Charity. Vector-brony 2014. Okay, this has already been a very long one. We have been on it for over 1.5 hours. Having an entire chapter fresh in mind has an interesting effect on our discussion because we have far more details we can go into.
Yeah, it's all better in better context.
Yeah, I mean, last time we talked about all the previous chapters, including 69, and it was a little bit over an hour.
Yes, it was.
Or was it? Yeah, now 1.5. God damn it. Okay. Final words. Do you have anything? I don't know.
No,
it was fun chapter.
It's all been covered.
Fun chapter. I'm really hyped for. It was a little bit of a silly chapter with a big party.
Yep, party time.
But fun nonetheless. It was. I guess it was. As it was for the characters in the story, it was a breather before the big epic battle. And
now,
it was the same for the reader.
Things are going to start getting a lot more serious.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot to do and not enough time to do it.
I need to work on my... Well, let's get it ready for the battle. Okay.
I am ready.
Folks. Yeah. Oh, god damn it. Wait. Yeah. Mine is a mixture between a model and a real deal. So, but yours seems a little bit more actual real.
It's a real
and
bayonet.
Yeah, mine is like a little bit bad construction. Okay, nevertheless, you won this round. I have to find something. My Wastelander cosplay is still bad.
Damn it!
I mean, so much random shit I put together. I'm wearing my belts crossed before my chest. Just wanted to point this out. And I have duct tape on them.
Nice.
Just for the Wastelander.
Well, that makes it legitimate. Yeah.
Okay, so for the thing... Oh god, can I do this with my... No, I cannot do it with the earplugs. I can't hear anything. So, okay. I would say this is AnYPony.
This is vector-brony.
Saying see you next chapter, I guess.
You certainly will.
And now I can't see anything because the glasses are very dark and I'm not wearing my actual glasses, so I don't even know where to press the stop button. Click.